Hey, Girl Scouts! Thank you for joining us today for the Junior Simple Meals badge. So in this recording, we're going to do one step of the badge, where it's step 4, where you're supposed to create a delicious dessert. And one of the options for creating a delicious dessert is to take a dessert that's a common dessert and make it healthier. And one of the most common desserts is chocolate chip cookies. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Nestle Toll House generic chocolate chip cookie recipe, and we're going to give you some different things that you can sub to make it healthier. And to do that, we have brought a kitchen scientist, and she's going to introduce herself and give you some background, and then we'll show you what we're going to do today.
My name's Lisa. My degree is in chemistry. Chemistry is a science that works in a lot of different industries. And I happened to get into the food industry here about 14 years ago, and I've been working there ever since. Now, my grandfather was also a chemist, all right, and his name was Ernie, and he worked for the Keebler Cookie Company, all right. So Ernie the
was
elf,
your grandfather Ernie the Keebler elf?
well, that's what my grandmother always said.
Cool.
And he worked on their cookie recipes, so hey, what Grandma said, we believed. So when you're going to start substituting things, was what you have is a working recipe, all right? This is a recipe that the Nestle company, it's Nestle Toll House Cookies, right? Okay, the Nestle company has worked on a long time. It's a proven recipe, all right? And now we're going to take it and we're going to make it healthier. And when we're doing things scientifically, all right, using the scientific method, one thing you want to do is to write down any substitutions that you make. And it's generally better to start small, all right, and then to write down exactly what you did. That way, if you liked it, you can do it again. If you didn't like it, you don't do it again. Because what I've done, I'm not an intuitive baker, all right? I work better with numbers and measurements, okay? So I have had some cookies that were pretty sad cookies. Let's just put it that way.
So you're going to use your math skills today.
That's right.
Bakers
we are going to use some
math.
They do use math skills. Yes, we do. And we're going to start subbing butter because butter's easy. Butter is something that a lot of people... it has a bad rap. Okay, I don't think butter's all that bad, but it has a very bad rap. And butter is not just one fat, all right? It's a compilation of fats, and they are all different chemicals. Everything you eat is a chemical, all right? And there are a number of different fats in butter, and they all melt at different temperatures, which is why when you stick your butter in the microwave, it doesn't all just melt at once. It's not an oil, all right? Because some of these fats, and yet it can become soft, all right? Because the ones that haven't melted yet will hold the ones that have already melted together inside the here's another word, the emulsification that is the butter. That's a chemistry word. Go look it up. But
there's not too much homework in this.
No, it's not no homework. No, you don't have to look it up. Ignore the word. So when you sub things, it helps. And that the reason they bring chemists into the laboratories when you're doing food is so because when you sub something, you need to have something that has the somewhat same amount of liquid. It needs to perform somewhat the same sort of function. You have to know what the butter does, all right, in your food in order to know what you can substitute with. We once spent an entire summer trying to make a chocolate chip cookie with a higher protein. All right, and it wasn't easy, just let me say that, because part of food is texture, all right? When you put that in your mouth, that chocolate chip cookie in your mouth, you know exactly how it ought to feel in your mouth. And if you put something different in your mouth, the first thing your mouth is going to say is, whoa, that is not the chocolate chip cookie I was expecting. So as a chemist, we work really hard to find the right blend of chemicals masquerading as natural products to make sure that it has the same mouth feel, and when you get it, it's exactly what you expect from a Toll House cookie. This is the reason we're not subbing flours, all right, trying to do a gluten-free flour, because wheat flour has very distinctive characteristics, and you have to blend some of the other flours in order to get them to do exactly what wheat flour does. So we're taking the easy way out and doing butter.
All right, so this is where you pause the video recording, look at the ingredients, which I will try to post the Nestle Toll House link to their recipe in the description of this event. So you can go look up, find all the things that you need. We'll go over some different butter substitutes. You can find that. And then we're going to show you some different substitutions that Lisa made so you can kind of see how it'll work. So we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, so now we have 4 different batters.
Math is good. She's good at
Math is really good. This is a pumpkin substitution. This one I kind of got carried away with. It was last night and it was late, okay? I substituted the pumpkin for the fat, and then I thought, oh, I've never substituted it for the egg before, so this is a double substitution, which I told you not to do, but it happens every now and again.
So what color is this?
It is orange.
So if you want to try orange cookies, this is fun. Get some pumpkin out of your canned good pile.
Now, this is what's called our control, okay? This is the actual Toll House cookie recipe done exactly the way the Toll House cookies... Or no, wait a minute, that's not the... Wait, this one's the actual
Keeping track of
Toll
your
House.
controls.
I'm having a hard time.
All right, let's find the camera. Ooh, that's what if you follow the recipe exactly, that's what your dough looks like. It's very normal colored.
This is avocado, half avocado substitution. All right, I cut up an avocado. I pulled out the yellow-green insides. You're supposed to mash it up with a fork, but my avocado wasn't mashing very well, so I used a food processor on it. And as you can see, it's not very green. It really looks just exactly like it should.
It looks a little bit like the control. You can kind of see them both. This is really fun with this camera.
And this is the one we just made. This is the applesauce substitution. Okay, it really needs to be, you can see it's, compared to the control, it's a lot more, well, it's about the same stickiness, but it's, I would definitely refrigerate it before I attempted to put it in the oven and make a cookie out of it.
So most recipes, there's a lot of recipes that ask you to refrigerate dough. Why does that help it?
I think because it's when it's colder when it starts, all right, and it goes into the oven, it takes longer to reach the center, and so the cookies don't flatten out quite so quickly. That's generally what happens. Even if we took this normal cookie dough, when I first made it, because this has been in the refrigerator all night, when I first made it, if you just stuck it in there, they would be a lot flatter than they are now, or will be now when we bake them, because of the fact that the butter is so warm.
Okay, so now I'm going to pass you the finished products, and you can tell.
All right, we have everything except the applesauce finished.
Can't finish that one.
No. This is made with the normal dough. Okay, this is your normal chocolate chip cookie. You can see how it breaks. All right, it's a little tougher break, and it's thinner. All right, and it's the texture on it is more what I consider a Nestle. This is the cookie my mother made. All right, so to me, this is a chocolate chip cookie. I've seen other families that their mother makes a softer chocolate chip cookie, and so that's what they think is normal. Okay, they're wrong.
They just experiment differently. They're not wrong. There's not.
There are right cookies. All right, now. This is the cookie made with the substitution of avocado. As you can see, it looks really close to the other cookies. All right, you could sub this and not tell anybody, and they might not notice.
But some people are allergic to avocado, so don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that with people that you know they're allergic to avocados. But as you see when this breaks, all right, this is a lot more cake-like. All right, it has more of a cake texture. It didn't flatten as much. I have the feeling that the avocado, oil of the avocado, or the fat in the avocado is probably more of one chemical, so it has the same melting point, not like the butter where there's a lot of different melting points.
Okay.
What we got here?
This is our pumpkin cookie. This is actually a sticky cookie. All right. And again, it's very cake-like. And it's also orange. Now, I have done total substitution on the avocado cookies, and it would be fun around Halloween because they are green. If you totally substitute avocado for the butter, they end up green, okay, which can be kind of fun. These are, a very moist cookie. That's what it's called. A very moist cookie. Good. I love pumpkin, so, hey.
Okay, so now we're going to bake the applesauce. They have not been refrigerated overnight, so you can see how that changes the cookie. All right, we're back. What do we got?
Well, these are the applesauce cookies. All right. As you can see, they look fairly close to the actual Toll House. All right. They're brown around the edges, crispy on the bottom, then kind of light in the center. The chocolate chips don't look the same because it's a different brand. Don't tell Nestle. And
There we go.
but they are not quite the same. And I have the feeling as soon as these cool down enough and we look at the texture is not going to be exactly the same either. This is because your butter is a fat. Your applesauce, there's not much fat in your applesauce. All right. So their texture is going to be slightly different.
Okay.
When you're substituting, one of the other things you can substitute for, and I just didn't have time to do this, you can also use yogurt to substitute for fat also. But the problem with substituting for yogurt is you might want to go online and Google how to substitute yogurt for fat because it's not a one-to-one substitution. Everything we did here today is a one-to-one substitution, but yogurt you have to do 3/4, I think, as much. So if you had a cup of butter, you only use 3/4 of yogurt. All right, and this is because there's a lot more liquid in yogurt than there is, and this is some of the reason I think why this is going to be a different textures because there's a lot more liquid in your applesauce than there is in.
It's very poofy.
Yeah, if
spread
you break it, yeah, I think you're going to see it's more cakey too, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a cake cookie.
So if you like cake cookies, which cookies are
It's a cookie.
That's right. Yeah. So when you're substituting, it's helpful to know the nice part about when you're subbing. You can also sub applesauce and yogurt and pumpkin, and I mean, you can't sub avocados. But the other ones you can also substitute for eggs. All right. And one of the things that eggs does is it helps hold things together, which is why sticky substances like pumpkin and the yogurt work so well. But there's also a lot of protein in eggs. And when you whip an egg, and it starts to poof up and it turns white, right? That's the change in the protein, all right? So you're not substituting apples for apples here. You're substituting something that's slightly different. So you're going to get a different texture. And this is, yeah, definitely a very cakey cookie. It's not crisp when it breaks. And, but hey, cakey cookies taste good. I like cakey cookies. And so it's what you're looking for. Like I said, that's what my mother made, was the Toll House recipe. And so when I bite into a chocolate chip cookie, that's what I expect. And obviously when you go to the store and you get, what's the Nabisco chocolate chip? Is it Nabisco? Mm-hmm. Okay. When you pull that out, you don't expect it to look exactly like a Toll House cookie, okay? Because it can't. They have to put things in there in order to keep it safe for you to eat, all right? They have to have things in there that prevent the growth of bacteria, that will keep it soft, all right? And they are all chemicals. They are all chemicals that are found in nature, all right? All chemicals are found in nature, I'll just say that, okay? But some of them are better for you than others. And so when you're substituting, just try to be, I'd start with the internet, to be honest with you, because I'm not really good at figuring out what it ought to be either. All right. And have fun with it. Make mistakes, substitute the egg too. So have a great time.
All right, so thank you for joining us this was Junior Simple Meals badge. Step 4, make a delicious dessert.
Still a good cookie.
That's right. We hope that you have a really good time experimenting with your baking and that you all love the science experiment that we did today. So, bye, junior chemists.